I am Adeshewa, and I'm at the American Corner House for Peak Performance 2022. Permit me to be your tour guide for today's program, where we have amazing mentors who would hold your hands to the top.
Welcome everyone once again. Welcome everyone to Peak Performance 2022. Turn to your neighbor. Anybody that is close to you, tell your neighbor, neighbor. Don't worry, after Peak Performance, you're going to be happy. Turn to your neighbor. Feel free. You're in the midst of those that love you and we've been praying for you. Your coming here is not by accident. So turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, neighbor. I can only see the students doing it. Please, adults, can we do it too? Tell your neighbor, neighbor. You're welcome to Peak Performance 2022. Alright, I heard that. You know, we're small. If you say repeat after me and you say a long speech, we'll just help you to say the last two words. It's okay by us, we heard you, but we may not repeat. Alright, so to go to the first thing we're going to invite the first speaker, and before he comes up, we're going to hear his citation. That is young Chinaza Anyanwu. So let's hear his citation before he comes up.
Young Chinaza Anyanwu. He is a mental health practitioner with a keen interest in personality development. He is a certified result practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and behavioral addiction recovery therapies. He's also the founder and team lead at International Center for Personality Development, with a focus to increase individuals' productivity rate while helping abused, depressed, and suicidal individuals heal from their pain, and the host of Personality Development Conference Africa. With over 5,000 recipients across his social media platforms, Young's Therapy Tuesday series is gradually gaining so much momentum as the tips he shares keeps helping more individuals to heal. He further holds a one-hour session to answer questions and help people gain clarity in areas where they seek emotional and mental healing. He is the co-founder, head of training and development at Skills and Scale Africa, and a volunteer pioneer facilitator with Paradigm Initiative. Young is a mentorship award recipient with National Youth Council of Nigeria, Hall of Fame member for Sunset Leadership Conference, as a recipient of a leadership award, and a recognition award recipient with the National Association of Psychology Students, University of Lagos, and several awards from internationally recognized bodies like GIZ and Net Factory. Young is also the author of Beyond the Classroom, where he chronicled his story of suicide recovery, and also the author of the yet-to-be-published Daddy and Daughter Relationship, a book on deep conversations around opposite sex mentoring and the twists and turns that result into a sexual or romantic intimacy. He's also an attitude trainer, consultant, a mentor, a coach, a therapist that causes epic change for individuals through the application of personality development tools that mount a conscious and subconscious congruence, having trained with FCMB, FBN Insurance, Agrico, Power Pensions, Red Money, Clark Energy, OVH Energy and Gas, ICANN, etc. He's also a lover of God and humanity, who loves to give all of himself in love. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will please clap to the podium. Mr. Young Anyanwu.
Thank you. Hello. Is it afternoon already? Yes, good afternoon. How are you? Wow, was that my profile? Wow, I'm grown up. Alright, amazing. I'm excited to be here. and we're looking at the topic of peak performance. So, seeing the audience, I'm going to travel another journey entirely. And that is to say that I'm entirely going to change everything I had planned to speak on earlier before now. And the reason is because I want to connect with you at your level. Do you understand? I want to be able to share things with you that you will find very useful even after you've left here 10 years down the line. Things you will never, ever forget again. All right? What's your name? Faith. Are you shy? What class are you? SS2. You're a big girl. How about you? What's your name? Tokbe. I just read your lips. I didn't hear your voice. So I want to hear your voice. Tokbe. What class are you? SS3. You are the most senior in school. How about you? Again? Aliyah. What class are you? SS3. Okay. We have our seniors here. Auntie, what's your name? Buluwatife. What class are you? Again? SS3. How about you? Favor. What class are you? SS3. And you? Miracle. What class are you? SS3. And you? Again? Kelechi. Why are they laughing? Why are they laughing? You want to tell me why you're laughing? Why is it Kelechi's turn that you're laughing? Eh? Kelechi's the big man in class, yeah? What class are you? SS3. Awesome. So I'll come back to you. Faith, yeah? Faith. What are you? What class? Science, commercial, art? Art. What would you like to be? A lawyer. Okay, Tope, how about you? You're in science. What would you like to study in the university? You want to be a neurosurgeon. Let me guess. You've read Gifted Hands. Have you? By Ben Carson. Do you know Ben Carson? You don't know Ben Carson? Oh, you should go and read about Ben Carson. He's going to inspire you a lot. He's one of the first neurosurgeons in the world. Not one of the first, he is the first. Him and his team that separated Siamese twins. Do you know Siamese twins? Do you know what it means to be Siamese twins? You do? Tell me. That are conjoined. The both of them, they gave birth to them. They were joined in the back of their head. That means their head was one head. Do you understand? And it was a delicate surgery because both of them were sharing some brain tissues. Instead of having separate, they were sharing one. So it was a very delicate surgery. He was the first neurosurgeon in the world to separate conjoined twins that the both of them survived. None of them died and they were normal. None of them had any brain issue or damage. They were normal, and he's a black American. So you should read his book. I think it will inspire you a lot. Aliyah, yes, I was going to get that. You want to be an actress? Please come and act this scene for us. Yeah, come to the front. Okay, how about you? Remind me. Sorry? Oluwatife, yes. What you'd like to be? A blogger. A lawyer. We have 2 lawyers in the house already. How about you? A lawyer as well. Wow. Woo. And you? Oluwatife. Favor, yes. Miracle, yes. An accountant. Is that what you said? Oh, I see. All right. And Kelechi. What would you like to be? Again? A musician. You're going to sing for us. So while you're singing, Aliyah will be acting. Alright, welcome to Peak Performance 2022. I'm going to teach you certain things, but I'm going to begin with my story. Does that work? Okay. I'm going to share my story because I want to be able to have you connect a lot more easily than just come from the top and crash land on you. So let me take it from the bottom and let's fly together. Okay? So while she was reading my profile, I was smiling. And then I came up here to ask myself, is that my profile? Well, yes, I wrote that profile, so it's my profile, I know. But looking back to think of where I came from and where I am, it doesn't look like that was me, or that would have ever been me. You know why? I was given birth to in the city of Ajegule. You've heard of Ajegule? And that was where I grew up. That was where I was until I finished university. I left the city of Ajegule last year. That was because I decided that I'm no longer going to be in Ajegule. I want to leave this city. And so I relocated from Ajegule and got a very beautiful house in Satellite Town. But even while I was in Ajegule, people began to see me. And then, many times, I would step out to maybe fetch water or do something and people would see me. And some women would be like, bros, are you still in this Ajegule? I'll be like, yes. They say, bro, I used to see you. I say, I'm always inside my house because I work from home, I work for myself. And I'm like, I'm always inside my house, I'm working. They're like, this place no fits you again. And I was like, oh wow. You know why? A lot of people began to tell me that Ajegule didn't fit me anymore. And these were people who were comfortable in the same Ajegule. So I began to ask myself, are they not human beings like me? What was it about me that made them feel like this place doesn't fit me, even though it still fits them? Do you understand? It means that I must be doing something different, or I must be different in a certain way that makes them feel like, this place doesn't fit you, sir. Please leave us here and go. This is not your place. It is our place, not your place. You know why? Because many times we put a certain lead on our life based on our experience and the things we've seen around us. Why did I want to leave Ajegule? Because I told myself that I wanted to enter an environment that resonates with the core of who I have become. I want to move around and see buildings like this particular one around me every time. So I wanted a house that looks like how I think. Do you understand? I wanted an environment where the houses surrounding me would look like how I think. The road would look like how I think. So the house that I got, it's a newly built house. I was one of the first persons that packed into the building. Well tiled, neatly furnished. And I told my landlord, I said in front, I want you to plant do you know this masquerade tree? You know masquerade tree? It's usually very tall, straight, like Christmas tree, but it's very tall. So I told him, I said, plant it in front of the house. And that's the view from my balcony. Because I'm upstairs and I have a private stairway to my parlor. And I told him, plant this kind of trees. Do this. I started telling him how he's going to beautify the place because they just built the house, yeah? You know why? Because there is a picture I want to keep seeing in my environment. But this me did not grow up in that environment. How did I end up in that place? There were certain things that made me to change, or that changed my life as I continued to journey as a young person, even while I was around your age. Alright, Kelechi, how old are you? Again? 14. Alright. Who is 16 here? Above 14. You are 16. You are 15. 15. So you are 16. Is there anybody above 16 here? You are 17. 18. Okay, good. I finished university at the age of 19. Wow. From Ajegule. Back then, my mates would be laughing at me. You know why? I wasn't like them. I remember I didn't have a shoe. So I used to wear one of my dad's shoes. I will now put a lot of, oh, you understand, sir? I will now put a lot of things inside the shoe and wear it. You know the worst part? The shoe was peeled. You know that, you know when shoe has peeled, I will now use polish and paint it so that it will look black. But by the time I would leave home, you will be seeing all the potholes in the shoe. And I was a teacher then because I loved the educational sector. To the point that some of my students were telling me, sir, this your shoe is not good now. But that's how far I have come. If I told you that I hawked water on the road, buy your cold pure water, do I look like it? Will you believe? You won't. Do I look like it? I don't. So when we talk about peak performance, we're talking about the only thing that you have as a person, you have control over as a person, write it down, and you have the capacity to use it the way you like. It is the only thing you have as a person. You have total control over it as a person, and you have the capacity to use it anyhow you like. That is the only thing that can put you in a state of peak performance as far as your life is concerned. It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter what you have experienced. If you can make use of this tool, you can change your life from anywhere, even if you were abandoned in Sambisa Forest. If you were to guess what this thing is, what would it be? What do you think it is? This one thing that you have as you sit right here, this one thing that you have control of as I'm talking to you, this one thing that you can use anyhow you like and nobody will question you for it. What is this one thing? Education, okay. Opportunity. You want to try? Just try. Character, okay. Good. That one thing is your mind. Your mind. If you can make use of your mind, you can do anything. You can achieve anything. You can become anything you set your mind to. Guess what? Nobody can control what you think. Nobody. Even your parents, they cannot control what you think. So it means that you can just sit down and think greatness and nobody will arrest you. Do you understand? Do you understand? It means that you can just sit down and imagine that you are the president of the United States of America and they cannot arrest you for thinking it because it is your thoughts. Do you understand? I'm trying to show you that you can think some things. It means that you can sit down and picture your village and build a 50-story building glass house and nobody will question you or arrest you. Do you understand? Do you understand? It means that you can sit here now and you will say your village is not hard and you will tie it in your mind and see people hailing you and greeting you and celebrating you for tying that road. Do you understand? It means that you can think anything you want to think. But the question is, what have you been thinking? Have you been thinking big things or you are thinking small things? Because you know what? You can never grow beyond what you think. You will never ever grow beyond what you think. Do you know that some people are praying to be rich, but even as people are praying to be rich, everyone in the world is praying to be rich. I hope you know that. Do you know that even in that state, if you give some people 200 million, they will go mad. They will go mad, but they are praying to be rich. Do you know why? Their mind has not been able to host that capacity of wealth before. So the moment you give it to them, something will click off in their head and say, this is not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible, and they will just go mad. You know why? Their mind, even though they are praying to be rich, has not been able to host that capacity of wealth. See, if you take first in your class, it's not because you are brilliant. It's because you took first in your mind before the exam. If you're very brilliant in your class, it's not because you read so well. That is part of it. It's because you know that you are brilliant and you believe in your brilliance. You know that when I read I will understand. Do you know that you can read for 4 hours and you will read for 1 hour, but you'll be more intelligent and more sound than this lady? Do you know why? If this lady is reading with doubt and fear that this thing that I'm reading, I'm not even understanding it, it can never enter. You know why? You cannot become what you have not hosted first in your thoughts. Let me surprise you. The year 2012, I wrote my final year exam. Excuse me. Enugu State University. That was December 2012. And I was 19 years at the time. And something happened. Because when I was 17, 200 level in the university, I lost my father. We were still in Ajibule. There was nothing. I recall my mom begged to see me through school. So there was nothing. You know what I'm sharing? So that you know that some of you are even privileged. And so success is not a function of your background. It's a function of what you think and how you see yourself. So, when I was doing my final year clearance, we had a new VC in my university. You know, in my profile, I was saying that I chronicled the story of how I survived suicide. I want to share the story of why I almost committed suicide. So, when I finished university, 19 years, I told myself that I wanted to be a professor at 26, even though, see, I was in Ajibule level, see the kind of things I was thinking. Do you see? See the kind of things I was thinking. And while that was ongoing in my head, I finished the exam, and then we had a new VC who came on board. Cyprian Onyeji, by name. And when he came, you know, when Buhari came, he said he wanted to wipe the system of corruption and all of that. So they started bringing out people, EFCC. That was what Cyprian did in my time. I was in the University of Lagos, their medical lab, and doing practical, when they published a list of 526 students and said they were fake admission. 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, 500 level, people who were going for service, people who were doing clearance. Guess what? My name was on the list. 4 years in school, studying so hard. I was one of the best in my department. I mean, when we did our departmental week in school, applied biochemistry, I was the only student that stood on the stage and did a presentation alongside other lecturers. Because in my final seminar, I did the biochemistry of fear. And when I finished, my lecturer said, man, this was so good, you should be a lecturer. So when we were doing our departmental week, they called me specially and said, do another work, research work on the biochemistry of love. I was like, okay. So I came to do a presentation on the biochemistry, that is what happens in our body, the biochemical reactions that takes place when a person is in love. And they started calling me Love Doctor. So I was that good that I was the only student that was invited alongside lecturers to do a presentation at our departmental week. Do you understand? I was that good to have failed out of school. So when they published that list, I took it that my life had ended. This is someone that all my life, all my dream is education. Be a professor at 26. It just looks like I crash landed again. This is the same person. My elder sister had rejected admission twice because when there is no money, we are begging to eat. I cannot be in school and my brother is in school. So she was doing sales girl to support the family while I was in school. So everybody was believing that, if Young finish university like this, he will get a good job and he will save us from this poverty. I'm now coming without a certificate that is fake admission. You don't reach to commit suicide. For me, it was the end of the road. But that was the turning point of my life. That was the turning point. When I say turning point, that was where my life took a new turn entirely. Because at that point, when I was going to commit suicide, I kept thinking of a lot of things. If there's any reason why I am alive and I'm standing here, it is because I thought in my head for 1 second that if I commit suicide right now, they are going to bury 2 people. Me and my mother. And I asked myself, does this woman deserve this death? Because I will not only die, I will kill her too. Because I am an only son too. Do you see? So if I die, everything don't finish. Let's just go home. Church has closed. So I thought of that. And the only reason why I did not commit suicide was because I didn't want my own mother to die. So if not for my mother, let's just go. There's no value to this life again. So I called my mom. I said, Mommy, I want to do clearance. She said, okay, how much is it? I said, 70,000 naira. My mom begged, looked for money everywhere, and sent me. And I know that I cannot do clearance. I know that school has failed. Why was I looking for that money? I took that money. I left Enugu State and went to Abuja for a 2-day conference, leadership conference. Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Maitama in Abuja, for 2 days. Sorry, I think it was 150,000, not 70,000. So I took that money. I went to Transcorp Hilton Hotel, 2 days leadership conference with Dr. Linus Okorie, Guardian of the Nation International. He recently ran for president and for governorship in Imo State. And I think we met sometime in December last month again. And when he saw me, he was like, wow, you're such a grown man. Then I was just 19. I entered, I think that was in 2013, I was now 20 years old. So you can see how small I was. And I went to Maitama in Abuja and I spent 2 days there in that training. And when I was there, I saw tall buildings. I saw an environment that looked like where I have never been in my life. I was seeing that kind of thing and being in that environment for the first time in my life. I entered that kind of hotel for the first time in my life. The kind of buffet, the feeding, everything for the first time in my life. I was looking at everything. And the capacity of people that came for that training, they were top professionals. I was one of the smallest persons to be there. As I continued to mingle with those people, they were doing a presentation for a few minutes, and they said, I'm going to group you, we'll group you. And they grouped us, and then they said, we need somebody to come and speak for 5 minutes and represent this group. In my group, I was telling them that I want to represent them. They refused. I was telling them, they refused. Me, 20 years, Ajibule boy. I know agree now. Me, money bad. You don't understand. I came here to survive. It's a different hunger entirely. I don't have anything to lose. Because where I'm coming from, there's no road. School has failed. Abi? School has failed. That's one. My family is poor. What do I have to lose? Nothing. If this is the point where they will know me, let them know me. If they will help me, let them help me. Anything that I will do, I will do it. As soon as they said, from this group, who is going to volunteer? Before they will say, Jack, I did not climb. You know how you climb the stage? I just ran. The stage was high. I jumped on top. As soon as I jumped on top of the stage, they were saying, the man said, no, leave him. Oh, wow, amazing. You people clap for this young man, clap for him, they clap for me. And they gave me the mic. So what is your presentation? I began to speak. For 5 minutes, everybody was in awe. They were just looking at me. Everybody stood at attention. I finished speaking for 5 minutes. As I was coming down, I felt fulfilled. It doesn't matter. I just satisfied myself. There was a lot I wanted to pour out. Before that conference, I had, you know when you are coping, you know what they call coping mechanism? Have you heard of coping mechanism before? Coping mechanism is what you do when you are in a delicate place just to pass through that moment or survive through that moment. Some people, for them, it is crying. They will cry and cry a lot, and it's their coping mechanism. For some people, they will go and drink, get so drunk, and come back until all of that is over. And, just like that. That coping mechanism is an attitude you indulge in to pass through a painful moment especially. So for me, before that conference, the only thing I was doing was crying. I would stay in my house. Once I put on a worship song, I will cry. So then they were saying, Young is so spiritual. He doesn't hear anything worship like this. He will just break down and start worshiping. None of them knew that it was a coping mechanism to pour out all the baggages in my soul so that I will be light and not commit suicide. Because it was terrible. I was going through hell in my mind. So that day, after that exposure, I picked up my phone and I called my mom. As I called her on the phone, I was shouting at the top of my voice. And I said, Mommy, all I need you to say is amen. Anything you hear, just be shouting amen. She said, okay. She didn't know what was going on. But there was a transformation going in the inside of me. You know why? Whatever you consistently behold, you become. Do you understand me? Whatever you look at consistently for a long time, you are transformed into the same image from glory to glory. Do you understand? So I began to see things that I had not seen before, experience things that I had not experienced before, and I called my mom. And then on the phone, I told her, I said, everything my eyes have seen today, my hands will build. She was just shouting, amen. She didn't know what was going on. I said, I will build skyscrapers. She said, amen. I will build hotels. She said, amen. I would host international conferences. She said, amen. I will speak to presidents. She was just saying, amen. A lot was ongoing. I was pouring out. And that day I told myself that I will sit down and prove that I can become anything I want to be without a BSc certificate. That was the turning point of my life. You know why? I felt that a BSc certificate, going to the university, was everything. prior to that time, all my life had been get a BSc certificate, get a PhD certificate, become a professor. So I always thought in that line. That was the day my life changed. And I told myself, if there is any possibility to be successful in this life without a certificate, I am going to prove it to myself. That was where my life turned around. I began to chew books like I was going to die. Till today, I practice it. I get on transit, I'm reading a book. That's my best reading time. I don't even have reading time at home. Lagos traffic. You will read 4 books in 1 week. You will chew the book. If you like, I will be reading. I will shut down my senses from everything and be reading. So I began to read. Now look at my profile. I've trained corporate professionals, FBN Insurance, that's First Bank of Nigeria, Ren Money, Agreco, OBH Oil and Gas, ICANN. How did I train these people without a BSc certificate? How did I begin to train people who were master's degree holder without a certificate? Do you know the answer? My mind. You cannot travel beyond the journey that your mind has never pictured. You can never travel beyond the journey that your mind has never gone through. It is not possible. So let me now show you what happened to those people in Ajegule that kept saying, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. Those people are like what we call trained fleas. Say it. Trained fleas. Say it. Fleas. There's what we call flea. A flea is a fly. Okay? It's like a fly, but it's a flea. You can check it in your dictionary or Google it later. F-N-E-A. F-N-E-A. Now, this flea, if they want to train it, when they want to train them fleas, they put them in a container. And in that container, because they don't see, they use their senses to feel their environment. They put them in a container and then they close the container. So let's say this is the container of a trained flea and this is sealed. So the flea is inside here. But usually a flea can fly above the height of this building and soar around, yeah? But now you've locked it in an enclosed space. Do you know what happens? The flea jumps up and tries to fly above this surface. What happens? It will hit this top and fall down. Right? It will go again, hit the top and fall down. Go again, hit the top and fall down. After some time, once it's going up, it will just measure that stuff. Get to that place and stop. Fly around. And now says, okay, this is the size of this place. Like it has measured it in its senses. Right? Now, it has become comfortable in its new environment. At that point, they will now remove the lid. That means this flea is no longer caged. Do you understand? This flea is no longer what? Caged. It means that the way it used to fly before, it can still fly now. But no, the flea will never bother to try past that level again. So it has conditioned its mind that this is my comfortable environment. I can never pass this level. So many of you are like that. Because you wrote maths first term, you failed. You wrote maths second term, you failed. By third term, you told yourself, I don't know maths. You are like that trained flea. You have measured yourself and told yourself, this is the highest I can go in life. Guess what? You can never pass that level. Some of you are like that in different areas of your life. Maybe English language, and then you've told yourself, I don't know English. I don't know this. But listen, you are not your experience. You are not what has happened to you. You are beyond all of that in huge capacity. Do you understand me? Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So never allow yourself. See, some of you are in that place where, because you have been abused before, you have put a lid on your life because of that abuse, that experience. No, you are not that experience. I know what I'm talking about. You are not that experience. Some of you, because you come from a broken home, you think that your life cannot go beyond that. You put a lid as a result of that experience. You are not that experience. You are not. I came from a family where we could not do 3 square meal. We couldn't do 3 square meal. But I am not that experience. Today I've trained a lot of people. I've made money in millions. I am not that experience. My failure in school did not put a lid on me. I have a friend who had the same experience with me. Till today, the guy still reaches out to me. Please help me with urgent 2K. Till today. And if you ask him what the problem is, he says, is it not Enugu State University? Those people, they did a whole lot on me. I did everything I could. Because the guy was intelligent. He did everything. He still blames Enugu State University for over how many years of his life? Because he allowed that experience to put a lid on him. My question is, what is putting a lid on you? In which areas of your life have you put a lid on yourself and told yourself, I cannot do beyond this anymore? Some of you, your level of creativity is so high, but you will never try again because you don't want to be mocked, you don't want to be laughed at. You've given up on certain things in your life. I just have something to tell you today. Try again. Try again. Because if you don't try again, you never know when the lid is taken off. You will never know. Try again. Try again. One of my most amazing scriptures is Proverbs 23, verse 7. It says, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. So I'm asking myself, what do I think in my heart? Because what I think is who I am. So I sit down and I begin to think amazing things. I think things like, the world cannot survive without me. My generation needs me to survive. I am like air. I'm indispensable. See the kind of things I'm thinking. Even you will get angry. Who are you? You are too proud. See, I don't know, some of you may not be Christians, but see, when Jesus walked on the surface of this earth, if I had known him, I would have said, oh, Benny, you are a proud man, can you share God? You know why? Jesus will come to men, human beings like him, and tell them, human beings like him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except but by me. Jesus will now come and look at you and say, I am the light. Like as I'm seeing you now, you are telling me that you are the light of the world. Okay, you are proud, sir. But that was how confident Jesus was, because he became what he told himself. Today, is he the light of the world? Because he became what he told himself. It is what you tell yourself that you become. Many of you, if I sample the internal conversations that you have with yourself, you will not even be proud to say it. Some of you tell yourself the things that you cannot tell other people. Amazingly, as humans, we are harder to ourselves than we are to other people. Your friend will fail maths first term, second term, and you will tell her, don't worry, I know you can do it, try again. But you will tell yourself, I am a failure. But you cannot say that to your friend. We are harder on ourselves than we are to other people. And you cannot be at your peak if you have that kind of language. The language of your mind results in the experiences of your life, the reality of your life. Anything you want to do first happens in your mind. You see this place? It was built by a human, like all of you. At the time the person was growing, he didn't think it would be like this. Even government is a human being. I hope you know that. When we see the government of Nigeria, it's human beings that are there. When we see the government of America, it's human beings that are there. Right? And those human beings were once teenagers like you, who probably didn't even have a direction in life at some point. This year, I want you to make a commitment to yourself to only think great things, to only think big things, and tell yourself, I can become anything I want to be. Anything. So go back, sit down, begin to look at anything. Let them be ridiculously big. Remember, we started by letting you know that nobody can arrest you for what you think. So why use the time you will use to think big things? You are thinking of fine boys and fine girls. When do they finish? When you can think big things. You are thinking pornography and masturbation. It will not take you anywhere. Sit down. There are better things to think of. I'm challenging you. There are better things to think of. Better things. Just sit down. As you're passing through the airport, look at it and tell yourself, what if I have my own airport? Let it be stupid to say, but think it. Because nobody will arrest you for your thoughts. So what if you say, I want to build the first floating house? A house that is floating in the air. Do you know that as I've said it now, you can almost picture it in your head? Right? And that's how possible anything can be imagined in your mind. So just think anything. Nobody will arrest you. Think it. It will sound stupid at first. Humanity did not ever think that it was possible for man to fly in the sky. It was not a thing of possibility. They didn't know it would ever happen, that it could ever happen. It wasn't a possibility. But somebody thought it. And today there are planes, there are jets, there are helicopters everywhere. Nobody knew that something as big as a house like this can float on top of water. Today there are ships, cargo ships that carries things that is as big as the whole of your street at once on water for days, for months, and travel across the world. It first started in the mind of somebody who is a human being like you. So I know these things, they don't come easy as it seems, right? I know because I've been a mental health coach for years, because I've been a therapist, and I get to converse with young people like you, and they share a lot of things. Even as I speak now, I can almost feel the pantings of some of you. Some of you are even communicating to me in a way that I understand. Yes. Because I'm understanding, even as I'm speaking to you, I'm reading your eyes and seeing that some of you are talking back to me. And so I know that there are certain things that may be holding you back, and you know those things. Some of you, certain experiences that you cannot even share with your classmates, you cannot share with your teacher, you cannot share with your parents, but they are there. Some of you, it is what someone has told you before. Some of it is even your parents, your guardian, the people that you trust the most. And then you remember them and you think, there's nothing good about me. And you just put that lid on your head. I know. Because I have spoken to a lot of people to know that these things are possible. But I'll give you a gift as I live. A gift that will help you break out. It is what you can do with your mind anytime, any day. You just tell yourself that you have the capacity to become anything you want to become. Whatever you want to be, all of you, go back, use Google, search for the greatest lawyer on earth, the greatest actress on earth. You know what you're doing? You're trying to connect your mind to a new level of possibility. So when you see other people like you, when you see them, when they show it, give you a name, go and type biography of, put the person's name there, and read their story. If they've written a book, read their book. If they've done a movie, watch their movie. You know what you're doing? You're connecting your mind to the possibility of what you can be. Because the more your mind sees about those people, you can become like those people. So go back home. Do that research for yourself. Maybe for you, it is someone like Dora Akoyemi. Then go back and sit down. Study books written by Dora Akoyemi and biography of Dora Akoyemi. Read and read. Is there a movie on her? Watch it. You have expanded the capacity of your mind. Guess what? As you continue to watch it, you become it. For example, every morning since this year began, because I had a retreat for the year at Radisson Blue. That was on the 13th, 14th, and 15th of January. And from that day, I had a session with one of my mentors, Praise Forward, and he gave me an assignment. He said, every single day for the next 3 months, make sure that you are watching The Secret. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. The Secret, it's a book. So every morning when I wake up, I am listening to The Secret. Every morning as I'm doing my exercise, I'm doing my morning routine, I'm listening to The Secret. I'm listening to another person called Sadhguru. Sadhguru is an old man with so much knowledge. I go on YouTube, I'll be playing it in the background and be doing exercise. When I'm in my toilet, I'm playing, I'm listening. As I'm bathing, I'm playing and listening. You know what I'm doing? I'm expanding my mind to the possibilities of what can be. I've not gotten to the height. Before today, did you know me? You don't know me. But I want to get to the point where I am a household name. You don't have to meet me to know me. Anywhere you are, you just be hearing my name. Do you know Buhari? Have you seen him before? No. But you hear his name almost every day. That's how I want to be. I want you to be hearing my name up and down, even if you've not seen me. Once they call the name, I say, I've heard of him before. And if you see him, you people be shouting, you saw Mr. Yo. He said, we're in the same room. And people be like, wow. You know why? Because that name is so popular, people know him so well, it's an honor, a privilege for you to be in the same space with him. So there is more to who I can be, just like there is more to who you can also be. So we're going to wrap up with this exercise. I don't know, can we have a soft music on the background? Is it possible? Technical thing. Is it possible to have like a soft music on the background? Is there a possibility? Have you learned anything? Have you? You have learned. Awesome. It was something very simple. I said, try again. Right?
Yes.
I said, when you leave here, go back and try again. Anywhere you put a lead on yourself, go back and do what? Try again. So we're going to do this little mental exercise together. I'd like to. So, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. You can just choose it a little. Awesome. All right. Okay, so I'm going to have you take a deep breath. You're going to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Okay. Awesome. Now breathe out. With that quietness in your mind as I speak, I want you to hear my voice like it's calming all of your nerves. It is making you feel calm, very calm. I want you to pay attention and cut out from every distraction in this room. I want you to go inside of yourself right now, in this very moment, and pay attention to only one thing. The sound of your heartbeat. Try and listen to it. You hear it beating. Love, 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 love. Pay attention. You hear it. And as you listen to the sound of that heartbeat right now, I need you to go back in time to that thing, that experience, that thing that was said to you, that thing that was done to you, whatever it was, whatever it is, you know it, that hurts you, and it makes you feel less of yourself. It makes you feel like you're not good enough. It makes you feel like there is nothing that you can amount to. You know that experience and how it has broken you. Maybe when you were a kid, maybe sometime 2 years ago, like you are watching yourself in a movie, and as you do that right now, in this very minute, I want you to hear what you heard. I want you to feel what you felt. The emotions, let it come back. Raw. Feel it. I want you to see what you saw. All of that experience. Let it come crashing forward. But even in this moment, right now, as you see that experience, I know it can be heartbreaking. It can want to wrench your heart apart. I did. It's okay to cry. It's okay to break down. It's okay to want to pour it out. Let it flow effortlessly. Allow yourself. Don't hold it back. I've been there. I go there every time. I know what it feels like to be in that place again and again. Allow yourself, immerse yourself in that emotion right now. But here's the beauty. I want you to see that same experience and remember that it is not you. That you're standing right here and that experience is in the past. Right now, I want you to leave that experience and see yourself rise above it. I want you to see yourself rise above that experience. I want you to see yourself traveling out of that experience. I want you to picture that experience like a stack of dirty dishes to be done in the house, like some of your clothes that needs to be washed. I need you to picture those experiences, and I want you to begin to pack those experiences into a box. Begin to pack them into a box. Pack them into
box. All of those experiences, pack them together. They are not you. They are not you. Don't let them define you. See yourself, pack them into a box. Right now, I want you to pack all of those experiences, see them, put them in a box and lock them with a key. With so much anger, you're telling yourself, I'm rising above this experience. It is not me. It cannot hold me down. It doesn't matter how many times I've failed mass, I can do it again. It doesn't matter how many times I've been abused, I can rise above it. It doesn't matter what has been told me. I am not what has been told me. I am the new me that can emerge because I put my mind to it. Right now, I want you to set that box on fire. Watch that experience burn to ashes. All of it. Allow yourself to burn. Allow that problem to burn right in front of your eyes as you look. There's greatness in the inside of me. I can rise above this smallness. I can rise above this challenge. I can rise above this experience. I can rise above this background. I can rise above everything I've been told. I have the capacity to become anybody, anything I want to be.
Take a deep breath again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Awesome. You are better than your experience. You have the capacity to change anything. And you will be your eyes now.